disabilities, gender, and the poverty. So these are the 4 points which I think becomes the part of it. And again, coming to the caste, the disability, or the gender, or the poverty, we have to look at the education system at the school level as well as at the higher education level. Since the context is at higher education level, I would like to just say that in higher education systems, there are two sets of education systems considered. One is the government-funded institutes, and another is the private institutes. So naturally, I think the matrix is broadly defined. So to talk about from the poverty point of view, when you talk about the economically backward individuals or the societal status which we are talking about, I think the government-funded institutes has plenty of ways of making the education very affordable. And be it the centrally funded institutes or universities, be it the state or central universities, so something they have already kind of in the process, they are already implemented. But when it comes to the gender, there is always some of the institute has taken a very progressive outlook in a government-funded institute, specifically, let's say in IITs. The gender which you make, when I say gender, I'm not talking about the very advanced level, what we are talking about, the LGBTQIA plus. Okay, so I'm talking about only the boys and girls. For that, they have made a very conscious effort of synthetically increasing the diversity in the institute. So something which is already has started happening. But when we talk about in terms of the diverse disabilities, again, many of the institutes has provided this platform of inclusiveness, bringing them to that as well. But when it comes to the private institutions, the challenges are of a different kind. Because most of the private institutes which are providing the facilities in terms of economically not good individuals, but merit-wise they are better. So many private institutes are providing a lot of scholarships to them, even though government is not funding them. But to make it the institution more sustainable, again then they have to kind of generate extra revenue elsewhere and make it the education very affordable to the students who can come and kind of get the education. I'll give you one case study from our point of view, is that from BITS Pilani, I would like to say that around 30% of the students actually gets the scholarships from the people who come from economically poor background. The other way we are providing the facilities to bring in what we call is the diversity or the kind of a difference in people who are making the admissions through the merit. For them there are certain provisions, and that is also has been provided. But when it comes to the gender part of it, again, because the institute has been a merit institute, so naturally I think the whole comes into merit and they are becoming affordable genuinely. To bring it in a different channel, because it's a merit-based institute, we have a certain set of staff members. We have synthetically created an opportunity for some of the staff members who can't make the admissions through the BITSAT or what your entrance test is there, but they have been given a provision to which there are certain number of seats are created for them, for which the institute pays their whole tuition fees. But the irony or the policies of governments are such that those scholarships or those, I think the tuition fees which are given, it becomes a taxable income for them, which is again basically becoming a burden for the people who can't have the. So I give you one example. One chowkidar, if he is earning a salary of let's say 4 lakhs rupees, and his child's tuition fee is given 4 lakhs rupees, 90% of the 3.6 lakhs added value becomes a taxable income for that individual. These are the kind of policies are not good, and the private institute should be given an opportunity in some way so that such people can become a part of the inclusive education system and can get benefits. So these are my views, and later on I can express.
May I add to that? May I? Yeah. This is inclusive education. It is a buzzword now after the NEP 2020. And when we say inclusive education, it is very well defined first in India by RT Act 2009. And after that, there are many progressive legislation in India which says that we have to accept the diversity and to celebrate the diversity. But in reality, what is the ground reality? We say that like the other panelists who said that caste, disability and gender and all, when I think he asked that who is the most affected. So I must say the group of persons who are disability, they are most affected. There are a group of persons who are invisible disability also, who are like in India, if you think that disability, it is only the wheelchair logo will come. But there are many disability who do not fit to those areas. They are cognitive or developmental delays which impair them in attaining higher education. It is now a challenge. And when we come to the higher education, like lot of challenges, and India has to transform 365 degree to accommodate the diversified students. Women with disability, only women, then persons with disability, there are okay, all the university, whether it is private or government, they are following the UGC norms of disability rules. They are in the schools, they are following the CBSE rules. But it is not the passion, it is not, they are just following because it is the rule. But one day, the proper inclusive education only it will happen only if there will be a commitment, there will be a collaboration, there will be a attitude change. We all say that change of attitude and all. Taking a workshop, conducting an awareness program is not the change of attitude. Seeing is believing. We have to bring the success stories. We have to show the world that they are there also, they can be included. And many of our educationists, they say that India is an inclusive society from the beginning. If we go to the scriptures, we see many examples in India and our rich tradition, they say they have included all the persons with diversity into the system, social system. But it has been diluted because of the many reasons. Urbanizations, joint family, education system. But today the call for the day is we have to, whatever the challenges, the barriers, accessibility has to be provided for persons with disability and also other diversified students to achieve the inclusive education 100%.
Can I add to that? So the theme for today's session is India 2047. So I would give a macro picture and I would like to handle the whole thing in a very holistic. As our Prime Minister says, we are in the Amrit Kaal at 75, and 75 to 100 is going to be the 25 years or the quarter century. Not a decade, I would say, India's quarter century. We are today growing at 6.5 to 7.5%. At the current rate of growth, we would be a 5 trillion economy in 2025. We would be a 20 trillion economy in 2050. Now 2047, let me put it like this. And if we grow at 8%, we would be a 30 trillion economy. This, if it translates into a per capita income, it is $13,000 US at 20 trillion and $18,000 US at 30 trillion. Now this would mean that unless this growth is inclusive, this benefit is passed on to the large citizen, it is actually a meaningless growth. And which means, like man said and sir said, inclusivity means different things to different people. For them, for some it is just economically poor, for some it is physically challenged, for some it is gender, but there is a far greater connotation to inclusivity. I define inclusivity as a person who is privileged, a a person who is deprived, and unless such a person is brought into the mainstream, no growth is having any meaning, all growth is meaningless. And so I will add to the four things which have been said, I will add language, and especially in higher education. I run a business school. Hindi and English becomes a very big factor as far as intake is concerned. A student who will not speak good English suffers from a great inferiority complex, as much of an inferiority complex as a backward caste, SC, ST, or whatever it is there. So we have to ensure that this level of deprivation, this level of inferiority gets eliminated. Yes, there are things which are happening at every level. IIT's enrollment of girls as far as has gone up from 9% to 20%. But then, if we have to have the kind of growth that we have planned, this has to go up to 40, 45, or even 50%. So a lot has to be done. There are cases in which, in IITs, in the span of last 10, 12 years, 18 suicides have taken place of people from backward classes. They have suffered humiliation at the hands of faculty members, at the hands of teachers occasionally, and this is published. Half of them are not even published, some of them come out in the open and they create big news. So we have to sensitize every aspect of our society. It has to happen from the parents, to faculty members, staff members, even students. Every level has to be sensitized. They have to be treated with affection. More so, government has done lots of schemes. Although there is a strong theory that, well, yes, the budget for education should go up, but then apart from that, there is reservation, there are scholarships, there are several methods by which these students can be encouraged. And I think we have a we are doing enough, but we have a long way to go. Or each of us practices inclusivity in our own way by encouraging such students who have the caliber in them, who have the potential in them, but then a lot more needs to be done.
May I? When you ask the question saying, is our higher education system, so there is nowhere in my life. In my last 58 years of life, I haven't seen anywhere where it says you will not take A, B, C, D type of. Nowhere does it say that a person has to be 100% medically fit. All hands, all legs, all toes, everything in place. No way it says that. So inherently, our education system is improving. Now, taking on what was said by Professor Barai and then Mr. Somani. See, this whole thing cannot be just pegged at and kept at the higher education. And I think Somani Sahib is not wrong when he says that it's a question of sensitizing people, the society as a whole. There has to be absolutely no differentiation or separating our people based on their caste, color, creed, ability, disability, etc. Now this cannot begin when a kid is already saying, "You are 18 साल तक वो पक जाता है." आप पके हुए नहीं खाते. This has to begin right at the classroom. And I remember in our school, we were surprised that it was only in the 4th or 5th grade that we actually started understanding, this guy is a Hindu, this guy is a Christian. We never bothered about it. I'm thankfully an alumni of Dr. Barai's institute. We never used to sit and bother over there to find out what is your caste, what is your vote. There have been cases, I still don't know what my vote is. There are cases when you go for a puja and the Pandit will ask you, "Aapka kya vote hai?" मैंने कहा कि मेरा कोई भूत का मुझे पता नहीं है, फिर आप पूजा नहीं कर सकते. So this whole thing has to begin from grassroots. Now, and also what was said about the private parts of education, higher education, the universities and then the government sector. Now, education when India got independent, and that is one of the key reasons why it is very clearly and boldly said that education is not for profit. Because it's a very socialist concept. So the intent was very good, being a socialist. But has it been implemented the right way? Now when you say there will be people from the economically backward section, yes, a lot of private universities create scholarships or funds which will take care of certain number. But at the end of the day, in the private sector, we all have our pockets are limited. We don't have a gold mine on which we are serving. But can it be done on a larger scale? Definitely. No one says it should be done only in the state universities. But can the state then take 2 steps forward and say, okay, I will create a fund even for private sector and distribute it across them and keep checks and balances to see that it actually being used for those. I have typically in the last 11 years in the education sector seen n number of cases come to my desk where we know for a fact that the parents will not be able to afford the education. And then we have to take leap and find a way. So there's a kid who's coming to you who's got 85% marks. But he cannot join your institute for the simple reason that your fees are unaffordable. So what can he do? So I think it has to be a good handshake between public and private sector to really make it happen. In the true sense. When it comes to caste, color and creed, I think that doesn't matter. In fact, till about last year, we never even had a column which asked anyone to put their caste into the application. It is only when we realize that for NAC rating, they are going to come and ask you, how many reserved seats do you have? I mean, it's such a ridiculous thing to ask and rate you for. So the inclusivity will become exclusivity if people will start talking 2 different languages in new forums. You cannot judge a person or a university saying, you have X percentage of reserved seats? Oh, you don't, that's right. You don't have another language.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, College Dunia and my institute, Excises, for giving this opportunity and participating in this one of the important topic. So I think this topic is important, and that's why College Dunia has also given this topic. So I would just ask the audience, how many member thinks that this topic is very important for the growth of our country? Just can you raise your hand? Thank you, thank you. So 2 things I would say that one thing in economic times, just before in the December month, they told that future challenge is one of the things. Right now when your car is stopping in front of the red light, some people are coming and tapping your window just to sell something. If this will grow disparity, then tomorrow they will come with a brick. So you will be unsafe. When we are, once another incident in the Bihar was that Super 30, you might have heard about that. When we are organizing a loan function for that, there also one of the IG who was graduated from IT Kanpur, he told that if a person decides that they want to kill somebody, no amount of the numbers of security forces can make you safe. So it's very important for all of us to minimize this gap, exclusivity, right, and to inclusive and all that. Yes, some of the panel members have expressed that it's important, and also they expressed that limitations are there. But not only as Professor Barai has told about caste, religions and many things, there are urban and rural discrepancies are also there. And definitely many of the panel members had talked about it should come from the bottom, like primary education, secondary education. And for last many years, Government of India is also trying to bridge this gap. But socially, economically and culturally backward people are not able to come in. Like if you talk about the scheduled tribes, scheduled caste, OBCs, and the gender and transgender and those migrant laborers, children and all those things. So things are not so easy, and many of all the people are still away from the higher education. Forget about the primary and the, forget about the higher education. Primary and secondary schools are also not able to provide the right enrollment and all that. So the fee, as this is for the higher education, so the input itself is not there. So the problems are from the both sides, supply side as well as demand side. If you see those people who are exclusive from this higher educations, they also do not see the benefit of the educations in terms of jobs, in terms of other things and all that. So really we need to think on that how the supply side will also improve. At the same time, how the demand will improve. Because they are economically poor, so they want to go early on that part, that they will start earning and all that. So right now in NAP, when the government has decided to create the special education zone, so it's a good step that it will create a lot of institutions in the in disadvantaged areas and all that, so that it will improve the inclusivity and all that. So with this, I think that we need to work it out in very well. And obviously there are certain institutions like my institutions, Xavier Institute of Social Service. It belongs to the group of XRI, XIMB, where run by the Jesuits father. The commitment is towards the poor. It's not commitment towards the profitability. Yes, money matters, but at the same time, like if you take about the corporate, Tata or Ajit Premji, the corporates are making a money, but at the same time their commitment to the society is at a very high level. So I think that it's possible if in the education also, there are institutes who are not totally towards the profitability, but they have a larger commitment toward the society. And especially when you are talking about education sector, it has a great responsibilities toward the society or to the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you everyone. Yes. When sir was mentioning about the inclusivity, he talked about caste, creed, language, economic class. But I feel and I want to add on that after the COVID, the biggest area where we need to focus is the digital divide. Because of the digital divide, the inclusivity concept for 2 years was totally at stake. Now, with lot of new initiatives being taken by the government of India, be it online education and all, this factor is very, very important. Lot of ad techs are coming, like today we are also at College Dunia. It's an ad tech and a technology company. But this technology is available only to Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities. It's not that they don't want to reach, or we the education institution doesn't want to reach that, but there are various other factors of availability of network, the financial resources which can work on this inclusivity. Another which sir has also said that the rural and the urban divide and the language factors, this is also an important area where I think we should focus. I would also like to mention that there are the various state government initiatives on